Hey, what's up, everyone? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to this week's episode of Fourth and Fun. I'm your host, Glen Ritter. Looking forward to chatting with everybody tonight. Got a lot of great topics to go over. I can't wait to get started with everybody here. We're going to talk about some of the latest things going on in the world of sports. Going to have a little trivia contest here during the show. With the insiders that we've got joining us, and but before I get into that, I got to just make sure you know how to get a hold of me on social media. So you can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at either IESR_Minnesota or Gritter13. And I took Josh's advice and got a TikTok account set up, and I recorded my first video and I uploaded it today. So you can follow me there on Gritter98. So, So again, welcome to the show. Like I said, we got a great great show ahead of us tonight. So let's get some introductions out of the way first. Let's bring up our kind of dominating champion. Seems to win about every week. Let's bring up Josh Ritter here on the show. Josh, you're not showing up here on the screen. Oh, there we go. I got you at it. There we go. Technical difficulties there, people. All right. So, Josh, first of all, which school, which sites do you cover? What are your teams? Where do you live? Tell us all about you and where people can find you.
So you can find me at Josh Ritter 13 on X, and also on TikTok, you can find me at josh.ritter57. And I actually made my first TikTok today with editing. I put a photo in and a piece of it, and I got the captions. I'm learning the TikTok universe. I guess I'm channeling my inner 13-year-old girl here, trying to figure this out as we go along here, and I'm excited about that. So check that out for sure. As far as which teams I cover, I am the eclectic man of the group. I don't have a region. I don't follow any teams. I'm from California. I've been in California most of my life. And honestly, I don't follow any teams in California. So I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, huge Florida Panthers fan, two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, Toronto Blue Jays, Oregon Ducks. So I'm kind of all over the place, and a little bit of Arsenal for the Premier League. So yeah, you can find me on IE Sports Radio Florida, some of the Arizona accounts for the Phoenix Suns. But yeah, I'm kind of the jack of all trades when it comes to my sports teams.
Awesome. Okay, so the one question I'm going to ask you that just to kind of get this out there for everybody, who was your favorite football player on your favorite team when you were a kid?
So this will surprise nobody, but I was born in 1980. So what I did when I became a sports fan was I decided I wasn't going to follow the teams of all of my friends, which would have been, the Raiders and the 49ers and all of those teams. So I said, what do I want to do? And the reason I became a Dolphins fan was Dan Marino, because Dan Marino was the really, really good player at the time. He was the best quarterback in the league at the time. And therefore, as a local, I got to watch a lot of Dolphins games, because you only got to watch a few games a week. And a lot of times the Dolphins were nationally televised game. So I would watch the Dolphins, and their colors were cool, and Dan Marino just could rocket the ball. So not only was he my favorite player when I became a fan, but he was the reason I was a Dolphins fan.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. As a Vikings fan, I was definitely a fan of Dan Marino. I thought he was the best quarterback in the league as I was growing up. So kudos to that, and great job, Dan Marino, to bring a new fan into the Dolphins fandom. Let's bring the next guy up here, Brian.
Hey, Mad Dog here. Your IESI New England insider showing up on IE Sports Radio back-to-back nights for the first time ever. There's a first for everything. My second appearance on this show. I was on the inaugural episode. I didn't win, and I get to face Josh again.
That's right. Okay, and so that same question: who was your favorite player on your favorite team when you were a kid?
I'll do two since one may be way too obvious since he's played as long as Father Time. The greatest of all time, TB12, Tom Brady. But if I had to say my favorite since I was a kid was Teddy Bruschi. He fought through a stroke. He was a badass. He was tough. Especially when he picked off, sorry to mention this, Josh, the Dolphins player to get a touchdown in the snow when he did a snow angel. Like, he was tough. He was a great defensive guy, great guy all around, great analyst too. So I'll have to go with Teddy Bruschi if Tom Brady doesn't count. And obviously the New England Insider with that, and a host of our Game of the Week, which Midweek Mania, which I did last night with Joey Jets for the greatest rivalry going on right now, which I'm trying to watch at the same time, Red Sox, Yankees. But on the Bruins, Red Sox, Celtics, Patriots, and BC football coming up, and we got a lot of colleges in New England, so I'm still trying to figure out how I'll do my shorts with all of that. But thank you very much for having me on, Glenn.
Thanks for joining, Brian. And
hey, Glenn,
yeah.
Sorry, I just got a text. I got a family emergency, so I gotta go. I may be back halfway through, but I gotta take care of something, unfortunately, that came up. So good. Have a great show if I can't come back, but I'll try to come back.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Hopefully things go well.
Appreciate it. Bye.
All right. So we do have one other insider here. Ralph Calise. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Hey, Glenn, how are you? Thanks for having me on. And have it there on the screen on X at KaliseR786. And for IE Sports Radio, I am the IESR Pittsburgh reporter. So I do all Pittsburgh sports. I actually jumped in with Larry B, and I threw in three college teams for football in the Pittsburgh area. Of course, Pitt, Penn State, and I told him I would cover West Virginia for him this coming football season. And I hope everything is okay with Josh. And just a little side note, Glenn, this has been a long time coming for me and the gentleman up in the right-hand corner there, B. Mad Dog.
Yeah.
We were trying to get our own show together on IE Sports Radio, but it didn't work out. So I'm very happy to be on with him, and very glad for the success that he's having on IE Sports Radio. And tuning into your show is also great too.
Awesome. Thanks for joining. And so Ralph, again, Steelers fan, who was your favorite Steelers player when you were a kid?
Okay, so Glenn, if it's okay, I'm going to do this in 3 stages.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to do it as a kid. As a kid, there was so many, but Franco Harris was my favorite Steeler. Later on, when I got to be like a teenager, towards my my early adult age, it was Rod Woodson. Rod Woodson was my favorite Steeler, and of course now in the final years of getting older and everything, I have 2. I have a 1A, 1B. And it's Ben Roethlisberger and Hines Ward.
Yeah. Great choices all around. I was a fan of all of those players. I actually got a chance to meet Franco Harris a number of years ago because I work in school nutrition, and he was at a conference that I was at. He was affiliated with a company called Super Bakery. And anyway, so that was a huge, moment in my life. But anyway, awesome. Well, thanks again for joining. We do have a couple of people watching. So first of all, we got Taryn Rodriguez chiming in. Hey, thanks for joining, Taryn. We hopefully have a great show for everybody to listen to. So awesome. All right. Well, let's hop into my first question, and I'll take down. Everybody's got Ralph's contact stuff. Good. All right. Let's go into our headline. So the first question I have for you is kind of a trivia question, and that's, what is the latest sports betting issue that surfaced recently and has left me wondering personally, are there no boundaries for sports betting? Have you heard about this one taking place, or where people have had to be warned about not placing sports bets on these games?
If I had to guess, I'll go first on this.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, well, in the state of Massachusetts, you can't bet on your college team unless they're playing in the tournament. For example, a lot of these college hockey games, BC plays BU, you can't bet on that unless it's like a Frozen Four or something like that. because obviously you can't bet in high school in I assume for most of the states. I can see why, because if people have problems with drinking or drugs and they know someone really well in their state who plays for like BC, for example, or the Minnesota Gophers for you, Glenn.
Yeah.
And if the person gets less yardage, it could turn into abuse and all that. But that's where I think the no boundaries thing comes from, would be to make sure these young athletes, unless they're all the way in the NFL or something, then it doesn't matter. Your exposure is there. But there's a reason why they don't. And I don't know if you can bet on Little League or not. That could be what it is. But that would be my guess for the latest sports betting issue that surfaced.
Well, you were wrong about the college thing, but it was actually the
Little League.
the Little League. Yeah. They had to make an announcement because nobody in the United States can bet on it, but Panama has some casinos where they were taking bets on the Little League World Series games, and Panama was in the Little League World Series, and it was one of those things where when I heard it, I'm like, what are we coming to as sports fans? Because that it was just crazy. So congrats on eventually making it down to that Little League World Series game. So awesome. All right, well, let's go. Well, first of all, is there anything else that either of you want to add to that topic or anything?
I would like to add, I was going to say Little League too, if Brian didn't get it, because I was going through all the sports in my head, and that's come on, that's getting a little crazy now. We're going to start betting on Little League games and all that.
I mean, 12 and 13-year-olds, that's crazy.
The way you phrased the question there, are there boundaries for sports bettings? I don't know I don't think there is, honestly, because I don't know if you sports bet like on all those apps, or if you go to a casino, you can bet on anything. Anything is a go. Anything is a go, and it's just insane. It's just insane. You go to a baseball game, and like, let's say the Red Sox playing the Yankees now. I'll use Brian's team versus the Yankees. You could like punch on the computer future bets or bets for the game, and you'll be scrolling pages for like a half hour on everything and anything.
So here in Minnesota, we are one of the few states that does not have sports betting legalized. So I think there's like 40 some other states that do have it legalized. We could drive down to Iowa and place bets, and I think we can probably use some of those apps. But I'm not a big sports betting guy, but it's one of those things where you wonder why so many professional athletes are getting into trouble for this, because it's so susceptible to participants, especially with was it DeJounte Porter, I think was his name, Michael Porter Jr.'s younger brother with the Raptors, where all he had to do was tell people, bet the under on my output today. I'll just fake an injury and and leave the game after like 2 minutes.
And obviously, Pete Rose was the famous guy for all that.
Well, yeah, and then that's way crazy and over the top too. But awesome. Okay, let's move on to the next question I've got here. So this is kind of another little trivia question, and that's, which sports league made a major change in how their sport will be viewed by fans, at the end of 2025?
By the end of 2025.
Yeah. They have a current contract in place for viewing that's going to be expiring at the end of 2025, and they're making a major change.
Well, I can think of one thing that isn't a major Big Four company, but it's not related, obviously, with this new ESPN streaming service. If I had to guess, I'll throw a curveball. Obviously, WWE's going to leave Peacock except Saturday night's main event. That's what I'm thinking of. But at the same time, the NBA has a huge new deal with Prime Video, NBC, and ABC for the final. So there's like 3 different networks. So if I had to guess, I'll just go with the NBA because the MLB hasn't officially announced anything yet with their expiring Sunday Night Baseball deal.
The only thing I can think of is the NFL. Is it going to be like the Red Zone channel will be on ESPN?
I heard.
That'd be my guess.
That is not what I was looking for either. Brian, you were kind of on the right track with when you talked about the WWE because they have merged with UFC, and UFC has their contract expires at the end of 2025, and they're going to be moving to Paramount Plus on like a $7.7 billion deal.
That'll save fans a bunch of money.
Yeah, well, exactly. And it's all on Paramount Plus. You just have to have that streaming subscription to be able to watch any of their fights. So, so speaking of that, do you think that is going to change or bring in more people to watch the MMA and Ultimate Fighting in UFC?
Honestly, I think it is because people who already follow it, or I know a ton of people who use a VPN, who don't want to pay like an $80 for a big fight, especially the Ronda. I remember going to the bars for the Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor fights. People were getting into trouble, late drinking and all that. But with just a Paramount Plus subscription, that's amazing. That's a bargain. Of course, Paramount isn't as big of an exposure as ABC and ESPN, but it's still good for the fans long term. And if they want to make new fans so they don't feel like they're priced out, Dana White and TKO do know what they're doing in that aspect for them. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about that other deal that I just guessed, but there's a lot of TV deals changing at the end of 2025, especially with I feel like so many NBA games. Eventually, you may not have regional channels 10 years from now, where I love watching Nesson for the Bruins and Red Sox.
Yeah.
I would just say that I think it's going to make money because now you'll probably see some UFC fighters transfer over to being wrestlers, like B Mad Dog mentioned Ronda Rousey. Mm-hmm. She went that route, so why you'll definitely probably see more of that coming up. So yeah, I think it's a good money maker.
Yeah,
sure.
Awesome. All right, let's. You guys all know there's been we're in the NFL season. Got all these all these guys that are wanting contract extensions. Let's talk about a few of those guys right now. So first of all, Trey Hendrickson, right? So he's on the trading block now. That I think the Bengals have finally said, okay, they'll listen to offers. Which team makes the most sense? Well, I worded that horribly on there. Which team would it make the most sense to acquire Trey Hendrickson? Who do you think that, in your opinion?
I would have to say this is a pretty long shot on that. If they have any shot of leapfrogging in one of the worst divisions in all football, the AFC South, I'll have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars because they don't have a lot of big defender playmakers, and they traded up with the Browns number 2 to select Travis Hunter, who could be like the Shohei Ohtani of Babe Ruth of our generation if it transpires in the NFL, because obviously they're on pressure to improve because they made the playoffs a few years ago with Trevor Lawrence at the helm from Clemson. But you got so many there running backs. I like what the Texans receivers were last year with Tootin, I think, Etienne Jr. still on that team, and Tank Bigsby, but they really need a good defender because obviously Jalen Ramsey isn't there anymore, I don't think. But I would have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, I can see that. Ralph, how about for you? Is there a team out there that you think would make a lot of sense?
I was thinking the Detroit Lions because their main guy coming back is coming off an injury. Maybe they would like put their hands in the pot there for Trey Hendrickson, who is a great defensive player. And I would maybe Detroit, depending on how it goes with how Hutchinson is coming back.
Interesting. I like that. Well, as a Vikings fan, I don't necessarily want.
Hutchinson and Hendrickson. Oof, what a duel.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That would we don't. Yeah, I don't want to necessarily think about
Glenn
that.
Don't want to see, Glenn don't want to see that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So the one team that I saw some rumors about was actually the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
Yeah. There we go. Crux, hit that like button. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And so when I was reading about that, it sounds like, they were like, they're pretty, or it sounds like they would want to kind of make that move, which does that seem like it would make sense for the Raiders organization? I know that Pete Carroll's, probably on a win now kind of a mentality, but what do you think? Does that seem to make a whole lot of sense to you guys?
Yeah, definitely, because the Raiders are boom or bust, but they have an uphill climb in the AFC. Well, obviously, it's a Chief in Mahomes' division. And
Right.
with Harbaugh and the Chargers with their ground and pound going up, making up, and you got Knicks and the high-flying, mile-high defense of Sean Payton, they have an uphill battle to climb with TB12 technically being there. They got one of the best tight ends in the game after his rookie season, Brock Bowers, and they drafted Genty as their running back from Boise State. And they got Jacoby Myers, who's probably their wide receiver one. So that would make a lot of sense too. So they wouldn't be competing with the likes of the Browns and more of the likes of the Chiefs or the Bills. If they have a shot at that, they would have to make that trade.
Yeah.
I think if he went to the Raiders, you would definitely have to say their defense is on arrows up. I mean, can you picture Trey Hendrickson with Max Crosby on the same defensive? Oh my God!
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mahomes and the Broncos would be a little worried about that defensive line.
I would much prefer that. I would much prefer that than him being in Detroit playing opposite Aiden Hutchinson. So,
that would be insane.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, that would be an insane add to their defense. And with Pete Carroll, I mean, could the argument be made that if they were to make this trade, that the AFC West would be the toughest division in all of football? I mean, we think about, at least as far as the coaches, right? You got with Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, and Sean Payton. I mean, and I'm no Sean Payton fan, but that's a good group of coaches there.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah. All right, let's change trade partners or trade targets, let's say. What about Micah Parsons? So I was reading that there is that the Cowboys wanted 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and a second-round pick in return for Micah Parsons. When you factor in what the new contract would be if you trade for him, is that too much to give up for Micah Parsons?
Well, I'll start first. From my team, I know obviously people are all loving Vrabel, but we haven't played one regular season game yet for the Patriots. We're back-to-back 4-win teams. And obviously people do fantasy stuff with Micah Parsons on and Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry from the Commanders, if he decides to hold down or not. But I think it's not too much for a player of his caliber. But if you're not a team who's ready to leapfrog and one town away, like the Patriots aren't that one player away from the Super Bowl, well, the Buffalo Bills would be to pull the trigger so they got a new stadium going on. It wouldn't be too much for a team like the Bills, but for my team, or a bottom team, that would be way too much because I want the draft capital. If Vrabel and the new GM for the Patriots are going to be really good at drafting a few years from now, they finally did well this year with Henderson and Williams and Will Campbell, who loves to be here as of right now. We haven't even started the regular season, but that would be way too much for me. And obviously they wouldn't trade him to the NFC East. So they would probably try to trade him to the AFC to try to get away from the NFC so they don't have to play Prescott in the game. But that it's too much if you're not a player away from the Super Bowl, but it's just right if you're a team that can leapfrog and challenge the Chiefs or the Bills or the Eagles for the best in the NFL. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
I agree 100% with his statements there. That's an excellent way to put it. If you're a one player like a Micah Parsons away from bettering yourself for the playoffs or the Super Bowl, I mean, yeah, go for it. But if you're a down team, if you're a lower team, yeah, it's way too much. And Jerry Jones is a joke. Come on. I don't know if he's making. I don't know if he's making the decisions out there, but to X that much, I mean, Micah Parsons he's a great player, but is he going to take if he gets traded to one of those bottom teams, is he going to excel that team to a playoff Super Bowl status?
You may not want to play all 16 games if the team's really bad.
Exactly. It's the player too. You got to look at the player you're getting. I mean, and to just to talk about Micah Parsons, there was ties when this first came out that he wanted to finish his career in PA in Pennsylvania. So that's either the Eagles or the Steelers. And then it came out that he would love to finish his career, of course, in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin. But I mean, the Steelers, they have a lot of draft capital next year. But I don't even see them trying to go for Micah Parsons with all they have. I think this is about the player, really, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, so I agree. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for anybody that is not, like you said, a player away from winning the Super Bowl. I think the one team that I had seen that was kind of linked to wanting to acquire Parsons was Detroit, ironically there, Ralph, which again, not something I want to see, but I feel like Jerry Jones wants to have another Herschel Walker trade. Although the one difference between all of that, and again, that was, as a Vikings fan, that one hurts me deeply because of I was in high school when that trade took place. And it gave the Cowboys their dynasty. But the difference there was the Cowboys were a bad team at that point. And then Herschel Walker was the one asset that could really get them some additional draft capital. And they totally fleeced the Vikings. They acquired some players, and then if they didn't keep those players, it would become picks. And it ended up being I think we traded 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third.
Yeah,
and a 6th for Herschel Walker, and when that all became, that became, I think that time they already had Troy Aikman. That was his rookie year that happened. They ended up getting Emmitt Smith, Russell Maryland, all of those guys. They were able to shuffle around the draft board and came up with their dynasty players. But I do want to say though, it's not always a bad idea to use draft capital to acquire that player, because the Vikings also had a very productive trade for a veteran player. 2008, they traded with the Kansas City Chiefs for Jared Allen. They gave up a first, 2 thirds, and then a pick swap in the 5th or 6th round, something like that, for Jared Allen.
I think he just got inducted in the Hall of Fame, didn't he?
Exactly. He became a Hall of Fame defensive end for the Vikings.
If I could ask, has there been any talk of any team that's even been like contemplating a trade for Micah Parsons.
At that asking price, I don't think so.
No, that's what I'm saying. I haven't, and then I believe they asked Jerry Jones the other day what was going on with it, and his answer was stop asking.
Well, pay the man.
Maybe the teams have stopped asking because of your demands of what you want.
Yeah. Again, well, like you mentioned, Jerry Jones is kind of a joke there too. So, I think we're all in agreement there that that's just way too much to pay. So let's do one more quick one with, like we mentioned earlier, Terry McLaurin. So he's been holding out, wanting a new contract. Do you think he has the possibility of getting traded? And which team do you think would dish out draft capital plus a market value contract for him?
If I could start on this one, be Mad Dog.
Absolutely.
There was a rumor that has been circulating the past couple of days that a package was offered to the Steelers for Terry McLaurin, and it was Pat Freiermuth and I think a second-round pick. And the Steelers turned it down. They were like, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's been circulating around.
They got Jonnu Smith.
They got Jonnu Smith. Yeah, they're going to be using a lot of tight ends as wide receivers, but they are a little shaky at the number 2 after DK Metcalf. And I would have looked a little further into it before possibly saying no, because Pat Freiermuth is a good player, but he doesn't stay healthy for all 16 games. And if you compare Terry McLaurin up with DK Metcalf, that's a pretty good 1-2 tandem right there. No matter what type of Aaron Rodgers is going to be quarterbacking.
Yeah.
So that's the trade option I've latest heard on Terry McLaurin.
Oh wow, that's I had not heard that. So thanks for breaking the news to me, because that does seem like that would be a great trade, because the Steelers offense has not been very explosive recently, and adding DK Metcalf and Terry McLaurin with Aaron Rodgers, even as much as I dislike him as a person, he's still a good player. That would make the Steelers a lot more dangerous.
Yes.
So the fact that if that was offered by Washington and Pittsburgh turned it down, that seems surprising to me, because I think that'd be a very fair price for.
And they turned it down fast.
Right. That's kind of crazy. Brian, you got any other ideas for a Terry McLaurin trade? Or
so obviously the team he's most rumored, which I don't think is going to happen, is, as a Patriots fan, I'll chime in on this since we're in the topic of Scary Terry here. He was a great receiver for Washington. No matter how bad they were, he still produced numbers, which was amazing, especially if you had him in fantasy last year. His value skyrocketed very heavily. But in my opinion, though, for Scary Terry, for the Patriots, there's a rumor that we would have to give up Diggs and the first-round pick to get him, which I'm completely against. But the team who I think I would hate if this actually happened is, I think, the Buffalo Bills, because speaking of Diggs, he was their last real wide receiver one. And obviously Kincaid was supposed to take off like the Kelseys and the Andrews and what McBride and Bowers were last year. But they still, Keenan Coleman could be that guy, or Scaffer or whatever his name, for that's their receivers. Mac Hollins did make a few catches, but he's on my team now in the animal costume and all that, and the Muppet costume. But I think that would be a good fit for him, is in Buffalo, where Josh Allen would love to have a deep threat receiver to throw to. I would not be surprised if they dish out some picks, because they're desperate to get over the hump of playing the Chiefs when it matters the most.
Yeah, you make a great point there. I mean, when I think about the Bills and Josh Allen, how he has gone from like almost no receiving targets at all over the last couple of years. People have left, and nobody's really come back to replace some like when Stephon Diggs left and things. So awesome. All right, well, guys, let's take a quick break here. It looks like we got Josh back after our break. So again, everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
Great time.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. Again, you're watching Fourth and Fun here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
All right. Welcome back to Fourth and Fun. Make sure you check out our sponsors. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Absolutely fantastic. I always have to have a couple of bags around. One in my office, one here at home. It's a perfect snack. Mid-afternoon, you need a little protein fix. It helps you get through the rest of your day. Check them out. And same thing with the Vital Apparel. Great workout gear. Proceeds go to help mental health research and things like that. Just supporting mental health is always huge. So, yeah, check those guys out. And again, welcome back to the show. So we've got all of our insiders back. Welcome back, Josh. I hope the family emergency was nothing too major and you were able to get back here. Obviously, back to the show. So.
Yeah, being a dad, even when your son's 19, sometimes means you got to drop what you're doing and take care of him. And I did, and we're good to go.
Awesome. Okay, good. That's great to hear. We love to hear that. All right. So I've got a few trivia questions here that some are fairly recent, some are things that everybody should know, some are maybe a little obscure questions. But what I'd like for you to do, if you know the answer to the question, I want you to just yell out your name, and then I'll call on you and I'll give you the first chance to answer the question. So the first question is, which quarterback holds the record for most passing yards in a single NFL season?
Be mad, dog. If I'm going to go with Drew Brees.
Ooh.
Maybe not.
Josh,
It isn't. Josh, go
I
ahead.
will say Peyton Manning. 2014 Denver Broncos. Is that right?
Yeah, 5,477 yards. So well done. That was way to get that one. All right, let's go to my next question here. And that is, which NBA player has the most career MVP awards? All right, Ralph.
I'll say Larry Bird.
Don't. No, that's hit the wrong one. Sorry. All right, Josh.
Wilt Chamberlain.
All right, Brian.
Kobe Bryant.
Is actually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 6 MVP awards between the 70s into the 80s.
Knew it was
All
one
right.
of those guys.
Yeah. You guys are dancing all around it.
Yeah, it was Celtics and Lakers back in those days.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Although he won with his with the Bucks though too. I think when he won the championship before he joined the Lakers. All right. Next question here. Which NFL coach has the most Super Bowl wins? All right, Josh's hand went up first.
Bill Belichick, 7.
That is correct, but it was only 6.
Okay.
Only 6. Only
It feels
6.
like 7 as a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, you chimed in before Brian was able to jump in. All right, let's go to my next question here. So, which MLB team recorded the most wins in 2024? You guys remember? All right, Brian.
The Los Angeles Dodgers.
That is not right. All right, Ralph, go ahead.
The Yankees?
No, that was not right either.
I guess I'll take a go at it and say the. Oh my goodness. It's not the Brewers, but I'll say the Brewers. It's not the Brewers.
No, it's not. I believe it was the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the dominant regular season and then fell apart in the playoffs.
See how bad that playoff run was? None of us remembered.
Yeah, they want money like the big market teams, so they can't keep all those guys.
Well, and then and when you think about what they've done this year, which is like next to nothing,
we would have never thought
it's easy to forget them.
Exactly.
All right. Next question. What year did the NBA-ABA merger take place? Does anybody know? All right, Brian.
1965.
No, that is not correct. All right, Josh.
1976.
That is correct. All right. Well done. All right. So I have
I was thinking the 60s.
Yeah,
late 60s.
So they started to have the merger talks in like 1970, but there was a lawsuit that took place and it wasn't able to be finalized until 1976. So as a follow-up question to that, which current NBA teams were original ABA teams? There's 4 of them.
Ooh.
All right, Ralph. See how many you can come up with.
I think I got 3.
All right.
I know it's the Nets. Was it the Pacers? And was it the Six? No, not the Sixers. Oh, I'm blacking out here. Oof. Charlotte.
All right,
I don't
guys.
know the other. I was thinking Sixers for the other one, but that wasn't it.
No.
I'll give a shot at the other 2. So Clippers?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
Okay. All right, Brian.
I think one of them is, I know the Nets were just said, but I would think they'd be the Timberwolves. And
The Timberwolves were an expansion team in 1989.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. All right, so the other two were the Nuggets and the Spurs.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, those are the other two. So I have another, because there were 6 teams in the ABA at that time. So 4 of them were absorbed into the NBA. The other 2 were not. And there was one team called the Spirits of St. Louis that were not brought into the NBA. But what did they receive as compensation for being excluded from the merger? Does anybody know that?
I think they got the Hawks before the Hawks were in Atlanta.
No, that is not correct.
I'll go with $1 million.
Nope. They actually got a lot better deal than that. All right, so they were received a portion of the NBA TV revenue every year up until they renegotiated, or there was a new revised agreement was put in place in 2014. So the people that owned the Spirits of St. Louis made more money on the merger than any of than the teams that actually. Well, I don't know if they made more money than the teams that actually got absorbed into the NBA, but that was just like a crazy financial deal that they were able to keep making money on that for almost 40 years without having a team. Kind of crazy. All right, got one last little trivia question here. Let's real quick see who remembers and follows golf. But who was the 2024 Masters champion? Anybody a golf follower here at all?
I follow golf, but man, that was 15 months ago. That's a long time ago.
Isn't it crazy? Go ahead, Brian.
Scotty Scheffler.
It was Scotty Scheffler. Great job. Yeah. It's amazing how, like, when I was a kid, I remembered so much about sports. Like, I knew who won every single Super Bowl and who the MVP was and all of those kinds of things up until I graduated high school. And then after that, I was like, kind of remembered. And then I remembered when the Vikings were involved and having good seasons. But other than that, I can't seem to remember any of those kinds of things. But yeah, it's amazing how quickly we forget about these sports when they just happened. So, all right, those are all of my trivia questions. So I got some buy, sell, or trash. Want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So as a buy, the Raiders should pull the trigger on Hendrickson and to win now. You want to buy it? Do you buy that or sell? Or am I way off on that?
I'd say buy, because they got 3 teams they have to climb uphill if they don't want to be bottom of the barrel. And obviously, I said it earlier, way obvious with Mahomes, Reed, and the Chiefs. But also the Chargers and the Broncos are on an uphill climb as well. So if the Raiders want to gamble, per se, in the Sin City, what a better chance to gamble and try to hit a jackpot than to get Hendrickson from the Bengals, which will give him and Max Crosby the 1-2 punch that no quarterbacks will want to face.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I'd say buy it for that reason alone. They will sell that place out in Vegas like in no time. With those guys on defense, like we discussed before.
Yeah.
I think that's complete trash.
Oh, really? All right.
What are the Raiders going to do? The Raiders have no hope of competing with the Chiefs and the Chargers at all this year. Maybe even the Broncos, who are a sneaky good team this year. The Raiders should be rebuilding. They should be looking for a quarterback in a year or two. Why should they be spending money on a defensive tackle end, which is already kind of a strength of their team, when I don't care how good your pass rush is. You can't score, so what's the point? It's just going to be throwing money, good money after bad. I don't get it.
So you have no faith in Geno Smith to be able to improve their
No.
offense at all? Okay.
No.
All right.
No, they're not. They're the bottom dweller of that division.
Yeah. All right. That's a bold take. I love it. All right. Yeah. Okay. I just think with Pete Carroll, I think he's going to want to try to win now, but who knows? All right. So I got to sell. Parsons will end up being tagged but not traded. What do you guys think? Am I off base with that?
I think it's a smoke screen. He's not going to get traded.
No
I
way.
think he's playing the field like we just spoke about, and it's a joke what he wants. I think in the end he'll wind up signing because, like I said, they asked him what's going on with it, and he said, "Stop asking." So
Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe he's just doing it for a show and to get
right.
attention. Who knows? But he'll definitely be playing, especially if the Cowboys do start off strong. He's going to continue to play, obviously. So I think he will be tagged and not traded for sure, because no one's going to give up that much for him, especially the teams that would are in the Cowboys division, and the Cowboys want to be America's team, and they don't want the Chiefs to win a Super Bowl or anything, like, because they are tied with the Steelers, the 49ers, and Patriots in the most Super Bowls. So they're not going to, and the Chiefs, if they were to keep winning, they could be up there. So who knows? Yeah,
I agree. Brian got it right that no one's going to be willing to give up enough. I heard a report that the Packers were offering 2 firsts, a second, and a player for Micah Parsons, and they turned it down, which the Cowboys absolutely should turn that down. This is one of the best defensive players in the league. No one's going to be able to offer a package that the Cowboys can even save face on. And the Cowboys have an allergic reaction to actually rebuilding. So they would never take a sweetheart deal to allow themselves to just rebuild and build their draft portfolio. That's not who they are. So I don't think that he's going to be traded. You can't be tagged right now. It's too late in the season for that. But I think that he's just going to be floating around in Dallas for the next few years because no one's going to be willing to give up enough to get him away from Dallas.
Yeah. And Parsons, to clarify, would be eligible to be tagged this upcoming off season,
right?
Because he's on the last year of his 5-year first round deal. So they would probably, be looking to do that rather than
That's fair.
let him go. Yeah. And Dallas is in a tough spot because they've got some high-priced guys on their team that are going to be good enough to not be horrible, but not good enough to actually win anything. Between Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, where are they going to if they trade away Parsons, are they going to be bad enough to have their pick be any good? I don't think so. Maybe right. I think they've got just enough offensive talent to be 500. Well, nobody wants to be in that spot. Okay, let's. How about trash? The Bengals won't trade Hendrickson before week 1. Burrow built this team. So do you think that the Bengals will hang on to Hendrickson? I know we kind of talked about all of this earlier in the show, but are they going to keep him, pair him with Shamar Stewart on the other side, and hopefully have them be a solid defense because their defense has been pretty atrocious the last couple of years?
All right, I'll start this one off if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Brian.
So the first thing I would do, if the Bengals were smart, but NFL teams in the state of Ohio aren't really known for being brainiacs. Let's just face facts, whether it's with the Browns, with their overloaded roster, the controversial stuff off the field. You got the Bengals who were known for that. They took a chance on Pac-Man Jones. Their dumb penalties cost them that game. You remember that game, Ralph, against the Steelers in the Wild Card.
Yes, I do.
But they have an amazing offense. Always start off slow each year. This team could have gone far in the playoffs if they hadn't had a slow start. Part of it was they had one of the worst defenses of all of NFL. Chase is amazing, most likely going to be a number one pick in most season-long fantasy team. They got T. Higgins, too, who's a pretty good wide receiver, too. Could be a wide receiver one on any other NFL team. And you got Chase Brown, who emerged as Mixon's replacement, and he looks way better than Mixon. Let's just face facts. And Joe Cool, he's just an amazing quarterback, making it to the Super Bowl his first year, his rookie or second year maybe. But let's face facts. They should keep Hendrickson, but someone's going to offer a lot for him, and they're going to trade him because they don't value their defense in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with that take pretty much across the board. What I will say is the Bengals have a long history of starting off slow. And it's largely because their defense is so bad, and they think that they can just outscore teams, and it's just not how it works in the NFL. And I would not be surprised if you see a defensive end on a contender go down in the first half of the season, and they offer a sweetheart deal to the Bengals, who maybe don't start off as well as they think. And Trey Hendrickson is causing some discontent because he's not getting paid, because that team is notorious for not paying good players. And that I think that you could see a trade deadline deal with a contender who needs a defensive player.
Yeah.
I'll just say that they're not going to trade him. And like you've got written down there, Burrow built this team. You're going to see a lot of Bengals. They're going to see the Bengals playing a lot of 40 to 37 games this year.
Yeah, I still can't believe that they have invested so much money in their offensive skill players between Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow. I mean, that's just astronomical money that they're investing there, and haven't done the same thing or done anything on the defensive side. So kind of disappointing to see how they've done that. So, all right. So one final question for you before we wrap everything up. I want you each take 1 minute and just script one bold sports headline for the next week. If you could do that, what would it be? Who wants to go first? Anybody?
I'll go first, but not for the next. I'm going to go for the next week and on.
Okay.
Okay, here it goes. Ready?
Yeah.
The New York Mets will not make the playoffs, and Carlos Mendoza will be fired.
I love it. All right.
I'll go next.
All right, Josh.
So the U.S. Open starts Monday, and there's something in the water about Americans doing well at the U.S. Open over against where they're ranked, and there's no rational explanation for why I think this, but I feel like we're gonna have an American in the final of the U.S. Open a couple weeks from now, and either Carlos Alcaraz or Jannik Sinner won't make it because an American will upset them.
All right. Interesting. All right. How
All
about
right,
you, Brian?
this is going to be more on the funny side. But
All
here's
right.
my bold headline. The greatest rivalry in baseball and the de facto regular season is over as the Red Sox and Yankees split the 4-game series this weekend. On to the NFL where preseason's over. Let the fantasy drafts begin. It's time for football. Micah Parsons gets traded to the Green Bay Packers because Jerry just has his Netflix hit documentary you can always watch. So there's that.
All right. I love it. That's awesome.
So bold take. Can't get any more bolder than that.
That is. All right. Let me see. I gotta add up my scores here. I've been have a little formula going. And Josh, even though you sat out the first half of the show, you did come along here pretty good. So I like I said, I'm just gonna add these up here real quick, but you guys put together some great takes. Yeah.
I feel like I'm in high school. I'm getting graded.
Right? Be graded, right? I have a little formula, based on which bells I use and stuff like that. So some additions, some subtractions. But you know what? I gotta go with my winner here is Brian. You well done. You had
Be
some
Mad
great
Dog.
takes. Yeah, be Mad Dog. You got your revenge against Josh for him beating you last time you were on.
Not only that, but I was at a disadvantage last night because him and Joey came in the summer and they're big Panthers fans. So I knew I was going to be a big advantage in my debate last night with Joe, especially with my Blaze like do or die speech at the end, which I always try to save the best for last on my midweek mania. And tune into midweek mania as we got NFL, we got Mr. Ten Rodriguez doing the Chargers and Bobby T doing the Chiefs. And in 2 weeks, you will be on, Glenn, back-to-back nights as you will be facing our Chicago insider and our host of the opening series, Adam Connick. So
I'm looking forward to it. It's that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to square off. I'm getting antsy for the regular season, NFL regular season to start.
And you two are also booked in the coming weeks as well for midweek mania. So it's an exciting time in IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports.
Awesome. All right, Brian. Well done. So again, let's go back. Make sure everybody knows how to find you guys on all of your social media sites, right? So first of all, we got Ralph. Got you there at Khalees.
Yep, Khalees 786. That's the X feed, and on the IE Sports Radio, it's IESR_Pittsburgh. And
awesome.
I'm working on TikTok also, but it's going along slowly.
Yeah, and well, the person you got to talk to about TikTok is Josh right there. He seems to have a pretty good following there on TikTok.
Only in the last 6 weeks. I can tell you can build it fast, Ralph, because 6 weeks ago, I literally only had TikTok to accept my wife's videos that she sent me. But I'm working on it, and I'm building the following, and it really, you can build a lot of a following pretty quickly. So I'm excited about that. So definitely check out my TikTok page at Josh.Ritter57. So everything I post goes up there. And tomorrow night will be my first night kind of hosting the weekend preview show. So I'm excited about that. I'll be co-hosting it with Ricky. And then in a couple weeks, it'll be my first time solo hosting. So excited about that as well.
All right, good luck with that.
Passing the torch.
Yeah, great. Yeah, good luck with that. Can't wait to see that and follow along. So, and then Brian, there's yours again. You want to just plug your social media stuff one more time?
Absolutely. I also redid my IE Sports Radios back on the Instagram. I'm also going to get some videos going on the past few concerts I went to, some photos and some sports related, some unsports related. You can find me at BMadDog617 on X and Insta. And God damn it, I'll just get on the TikTok trend too and create something.
All right. Peer pressure. We got you. We got you going. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys stepping up and joining the show. I had a lot of fun having great discussions. Great to get to know you guys a little bit better, knowing which players you cheered for when you were a kid. I love that. So, again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been Fourth and Fun here with Glen Ritter, Brian Francione. I believe that's did I pronounce that right?
Correct.
Please, and Josh Ritter, we're not related, but we just got the same last name. So again,
rules to follow and you're good.
There you go. All right.
Hey,
bye, guys.
Glenn, thanks for having me on. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week, everyone.
Yep.